years in the ad business, I had to stay completely up to the minute, and so will you. You'll have to know about optimizing search engine results. You'll have to know what cool technology was just unveiled at SXSW Interactive. You'll have to know about APIs and RFIDs. And you'll have to keep learning new skills all the time. Fortunately, you don't have to be an expert at everything. As a copywriter, I don't really have to know how to prototype an app. But if I want to be a valued member of my team, I basically have to be the second smartest person in the room on that subject, and on every subject except copywriting, where I'd hope, of course, to be the first smartest. Digitally, I've managed to hold my own through 4 editions of this book. Just the same, I figure it's time to bring in someone smarter than me on the subject. Which brings me to our contributing author, Edward Boches. During his 31 years at agencies like Mullen and Hill Holliday, Edward went from being an early adopter and advocate of digital to a thought leader and recognized expert. Edward wrote chapters 10 through 15, but we passed the pen back and forth while writing this 5th edition, and so sometimes the word I means Edward, sometimes it's me. Throughout the text, you will occasionally see little boxes like bit.ly/Whipple5. It's usually next to the description of a piece of work that our words, as transcendently perfect as they are, do not do justice. It's work you really ought to see. Bit.ly is a URL shortener. The main site for this 5th edition of Whipple is bit.ly/Whipple5, and many of the pieces cited here reside there. Put that address in your bookmarks bar, after which you need only remember the suffix to get to any particular place, like Whipple 5 Skittles or Whipple 5 Red Bull. One last note before we begin. You have purchased what is known as a book. Touching the pictures will not make them play. Note also the pages do not swipe. You must grip the corner at the top of the right page and then sort of roll it back and to the left. 1. A brief history of why everybody hates advertising and why you should try to get a job there. I grew up pointing a finger gun at Mr. Whipple. You probably don't know him, but he was this irritating guy who kept interrupting my favorite television shows back in the day. The morning lineup was my favorite, with its back-to-back Dick Van Dyke and Andy Griffith shows. But Whipple kept butting in on Rob and Laura Petrie. He'd appear uninvited on my TV, looking over the top of his glasses and pursing his lips at the ladies in his grocery store. 2 middle-aged women, presumably with high school or college degrees, would be standing in the aisle squeezing rolls of toilet paper. Whipple would wag his finger and scold, "Please don't squeeze the Charmin." After the ladies scurried away, he'd give the rolls a few furtive squeezes himself. Oh, they were such bad commercials. The thing is, I'd wager that if the Whipple campaign aired today, there would be 100 different parodies on YouTube tomorrow. But back then, all we had was a volume knob. We had to walk to the TV set. Then VCRs came along, and later DVRs, and the fast-forward button became our defense. We can just tell Whipple to shut the hell up, turn them off, and go get our entertainment from any number of other platforms and devices. To be fair, Procter & Gamble's Charmin commercials weren't the worst thing that ever aired on television. They had a concept, although contrived, and a brand image, although irritating, even to a 9th grader. Whipple 5 Squeeze. If it were just me who didn't like Whipple's commercials, well, I might shrug it off. But the more I read about the campaign, the more consensus I discovered. In Martin Mayer's book, Whatever Happened to Madison Avenue, I found this. Charmin's Whipple was one of the most disliked television commercials of the 1970s. Everybody thought, "Please don't squeeze the Charmin" was stupid, and it ranked last in believability in all the commercials studied for a period of years. In a book called The New How to Advertise, I found, when asked which campaigns they most disliked, consumers convicted Mr. Whipple.